I wanted to test the idea that the Magna Carta was actually the Mande Carta, of the Mande people, West Africa. That the Mande Carta of England inspired the Manden Carta of Mali, later around 1235, and not the other way around. King John was the officiator of the signing of the Magna Carta. So I looked up his images to find any clues or symbolism upon his clothing that might give me an idea of heritage. Bear with me because I like to go all around the houses in my hunt for hidden truth. And I'm taking you too if you'll follow. This portrait has the words Johannes Rex Angliae John King of England. Dux Normanniae, Duke of Normandy. Commies Pictou I and Andigav I. Dhib. If we search Andigavi we get Andakavi, a Gallic tribe dwelling in Armorica during the Roman period. This is Brittany today. This map locates the Andes and Pictone tribes. Why is he titled over a tribe which existed, at least 700 years prior? But more importantly for this video, take note of the title Lord of Ireland. This is the effigy of King John in Worcester Cathedral, plaster cast, painted and with jewels. And this is the original effigy carved or cast from Dorset greenstone, paint removed, jewels removed. The damage to his nose, we can take a guess to why this was actioned. When did this damage occur? Was it in the care of the cathedral, or a raid much earlier and by who? I came across an image of the Magna Carta barons with the word tinners. Did they make their fortunes from tin? Richard Earl of Cornwall was the brother of King Henry III, both being sons of King John. And although he is called a prince, he was actually very significant. It is not talked about, but he was king of Germany, formerly king of the Romans. I was surprised to find that the Roman Empire extended around the Mediterranean as shown here, in approximately AD 117. I looked up the root word row. Here's what Wikipedia says. Row in Catalan. Greek letter P. Row in Old Norse/Nigh Norse. Rest, tranquil, calm. Row using oars. Could Roman mean the rowing men? I looked up the meaning of Roman. It goes even deeper. Expecting a simple explanation, I was surprised by the first thing that showed. From South Africa, Roy meaning red plus man meaning man. The Latin explanation came below this, and doesn't really offer an origin. What if the origin is red man? The Nordic red men who rode the seas. And what I mean by that is skin tone, not hair. Richard, king of the Romans, Germany, was one of the wealthiest men in Europe and joined the Barons' Crusade. He must have made his fortune from tin mining, but why is this never mentioned? Historians treat it as a myth. Going back to the Magna Carta barons, notice that most of these crests are colored red and yellow, which are the colors of Spain. If Row is showing a Catalan connection, then that is North Spain. This gold plaque shows a union between Spain and Cornwall, and we'll come to that in a moment. Where am I going with this? How does it link to the Mande people of West Africa? Let's take a look at what Wiki says of the Mande people. The Mande peoples are a linguistic grouping of those African nations who speak Mande languages. The Mandinka, a Western Mande nation, are credited with founding one of the largest West African empires. After migrating from the Central Sahara, Mande-speaking peoples established Tikhit culture in the Western Saharan region of Mauritania. Now Mauritania is thought to be where the city of Atlantis was built, after Exodus from the destruction of Atlantis. Era. Ireland. The city of Atlantis may have been where the Rycat structure scars the landscape, in Mauritania. Perhaps these people did not migrate from Central Sahara, but from the Rycat region directly above where they are now. My opinion is that there was a nuclear strike on the city. We can see evidence of burnt black rocks. Another key piece of evidence that Mande possibly sailed from the Atlantic Isles is the word Mauritania. We are all focused on the moors of North Africa when we should be looking further west. In my video titled River Mersey, I talk about a place in northern England called Rivington. I came to the conclusion that it had been built by Moors, and we can certainly see more evidence in these pictures. In England there is also Stoke Mandeville, which brings us closer to the Magna Carta barons. The suffix Mandeville was first recorded in 1284 when the manor was listed as being in the hands of the powerful de Mandeville family. De Mandeville is an Old Norman surname. The first recorded use of this name comes from Geoffrey de Mandeville, Constable of the Tower of London. Here we can see the word Magnaville interchanged for Mandeville. Geoffrey died in 1144, but before him was Sir John de Mandeville, famous for his book Mandeville's Travels, otherwise known as Jahan al Labar. Typing Spain de Mandeville we get this. The introduction of Sir John de Mandeville into Spain was due both to a person and a temperament. Don Juan of Aragon, when Dutch primogeniture, had received his training and literary patronage from his father, Pedro the Ceremonious, with whom he cooperated to advance the influence of the Arthurian cycle in Catalonia. To this schooling he added a personal interest, verging on the morbid, in remote travel and hidden knowledge, which gained for him an unsavory reputation. All men murmured and then openly declared that he was worse than Nero. He wished to be informed of all the strange things which are throughout the world. Ireland naturally attracted his attention. So there's the Catalan connection. Aragon. Were they using this river as a trade route to Cornwall? Isn't it odd that not one mention is made on Wikipedia of the trade in which the barons made their fortune? The Magna, or Mande Carta, was less about the rights of citizens and more about the rights and liberties of the barons. By the time it was amended and signed by the king in 1215, it had become a peace treaty. Geoffrey de Mandeville being the leading knight in negotiations. The fact that Sir John de Mandeville was known as John the Barb, as in Barbary, tells me he was in fact of African descent. Stands to reason that Geoffrey and his fellow Knights of Temple, in the city of London, were also of African descent.